The pillow pressed down, she couldn't breathe. And the man holding it, her husband, the father of her unborn child, the millionaire she trusted with her life. But here's what he didn't know. Someone was watching, someone was recording, and someone was about to make sure he paid for every calculated, cold-blooded second of his plan. This isn't just another cheating husband story. This is about a woman who woke up gasping for air and realized she'd been sleeping next to a killer for months. A man who'd practiced suffocation techniques, who'd increased her life insurance to $5 million, who had another pregnant girlfriend waiting in the wings. He thought she was weak, dependent, easy to erase. He was dead wrong. What you're about to hear is the true story of Rebecca Morrison, 8 months pregnant, fighting for 2 lives. Armed with nothing but her instincts, a hidden recording, and the kind of rage that only comes when someone tries to make you disappear. Before we dive in, if you love stories about women who refuse to be victims, who fight back against impossible odds, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me what you would do in Rebecca's situation. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe, because trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when a millionaire's perfect plan falls apart. Now, let's talk about the night Rebecca Morrison stopped being a victim and became a survivor. The pillow pressed down, harder. She couldn't breathe. Rebecca Morrison's eyes snapped open in the darkness. Her lungs screamed for air. Her hands clawed at the fabric, crushing against her face. The weight was impossible, suffocating, final. Through the cotton she saw him, her husband, standing over her with the pillow in his hands. His face held no emotion, no panic, no concern, just cold calculation. She thrashed. Her 8 months pregnant belly made it impossible to move properly. The baby. Oh God, the baby. Her fingernails raked his arms. Drew blood, he didn't flinch. Then suddenly the pressure released. Garrett stepped back. The pillow dropped to the floor. Rebecca gasped, choking on air. Her throat burned, her vision spotted with black dots. "You were having a nightmare," Garrett said. His voice was calm, measured. Screaming, "I was trying to wake you up." Rebecca's chest heaved. She touched her face, her neck, everything hurt. "The baby was crying," Garrett continued. "You were screaming about the baby crying." She stared at him. Her mind tried to process his words. The baby, crying, but that made no sense. There was no baby crying. The baby was still inside her, still weeks away from being born. "There's no baby crying yet, Garrett," she whispered. Her voice came out strangled, raw. "I'm still pregnant." Something flickered in his eyes. Just for a second. Then it was gone. "You were dreaming," he said. He picked up his phone from the nightstand. "I'm calling 911. You might be having complications." Rebecca watched him dial, her heart hammered against her ribs. Her hands instinctively covered her belly. The baby kicked. Strong, alive, unaware. This didn't make sense. None of it made sense. But her neck hurt, her face throbbed, and Garrett's eyes had been so cold, so dead. "You were being gaslit the whole time," a voice whispered in her mind, but she pushed it away. He wouldn't. They were having a baby. He loved her. Didn't he? The paramedics arrived within 12 minutes. 2 men with kind faces and efficient hands. They asked questions, checked her vitals, examined her neck. "Ma'am, can you tell us what happened?" the older one asked. Garrett answered before she could. "She was having a nightmare, screaming. I tried to wake her up. She must have had a panic attack." The paramedic's eyes met Rebecca's. "Is that what happened, Mrs. Morrison?" She opened her mouth, closed it. What was she supposed to say? That her husband tried to kill her? With a pillow? While she was 8 months pregnant? It sounded insane. "I don't know," she said finally. "I woke up and couldn't breathe." The paramedics exchanged a look. "We'd like to take you to the hospital, get you checked out, make sure the baby's okay." Rebecca nodded. Relief flooded through her. Away from here, away from this room, away from Garrett's cold eyes. At the hospital, the emergency room buzzed with activity. Fluorescent lights, antiseptic smell, the steady beep of monitors. They wheeled her into an examination room. Garrett followed, his hand on her shoulder. Possessive, protective, or was it controlling? Stop it, she told herself. You're being paranoid. But her neck still hurt. A doctor entered. She was in her early 40s with dark hair pulled back in a neat bun. Her white coat had a name embroidered on it. Dr. Elena Hartwell, cardiovascular surgery. Mrs. Morrison, Dr. Hartwell said. Her voice was gentle but professional. I'm going to examine you. Is that all right? Rebecca nodded. Dr. Hartwell's hands were cool and careful. She tilted Rebecca's head, examined her throat, her eyes, her face. She said nothing, but her expression grew more concerned with each passing second. Finally, she stepped back. Mr. Morrison, would you mind stepping out for a moment? I need to speak with your wife, privately. I'd prefer to stay, Garrett said. His smile was charming, perfect. We don't keep secrets. Hospital policy, Dr. Hartwell replied. Her tone left no room for argument. It will just be a few minutes. Garrett's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Of course, I'll get some coffee. He kissed Rebecca's forehead. I'll be right back, sweetheart. The door closed behind him. Dr. Hartwell waited, listened, then moved closer to Rebecca. These are finger marks, Mrs. Morrison, she said quietly. She pointed to Rebecca's neck. Someone tried to strangle you. The petechial hemorrhaging in your eyes confirms it. This wasn't a panic attack. Rebecca's world tilted. She felt like she was underwater again, drowning. No, she whispered. No, he wouldn't. We're having a baby. Dr. Hartwell's eyes were kind, like she had heard this before. How long has he been hurting you? He hasn't, Rebecca said automatically. But even as she spoke, doubt crept in. The accidents, the falls, the strange illnesses. He loves me. I'm sure he does, Dr. Hartwell said. She didn't sound convinced. But love doesn't leave bruises like these. Rebecca's hands trembled. She did what she always did when she couldn't process something. Started counting, 1, 2, 3. The ceiling tiles. 4, 5, 6. Anything to not think about what Dr. Hartwell was saying. I'm not crazy, she thought. The words formed clearly in her mind. I know what I saw. His eyes, the pillow, the pressure. I need to run some tests, Dr. Hartwell said. Make sure the baby is okay. And I'm going to document these injuries. For your protection. Rebecca nodded numbly. Protection? From what? From whom? From Garrett. The thought hit her like a physical blow. Her husband, the father of her baby, the man she'd loved for 4 years. Had he really tried to kill her? Dr. Hartwell performed an ultrasound. The baby's heartbeat filled the room. Strong, steady, perfect. Rebecca watched the screen through tears she didn't remember crying. Your daughter is fine, Dr. Hartwell said. She squeezed Rebecca's hand. But I need you to think very carefully. Is there someone you can call? Someone who can help you? Before Rebecca could answer, Garrett returned. He carried 2 cups of coffee. His smile was warm, concerned. Everything a worried husband should be. How is she, doctor? He asked. Mother and baby are both fine, Dr. Hartwell replied. Her voice was professionally neutral. But I'd like to keep her overnight for observation, given the incident. Of course, Garrett said. He set the coffee down and took Rebecca's hand. Whatever you think is best. His thumb stroked her knuckles, gentle, loving. Rebecca looked at his face, searched for the coldness she'd seen earlier. It wasn't there. Maybe she'd imagined it. Maybe she really had been having a nightmare. But her neck still hurt, and Dr. Hartwell's words echoed in her mind. Finger marks. Someone tried to strangle you. They admitted her to a private room. Garrett stayed until visiting hours ended. He kissed her goodnight, promised to return first thing in the morning, told her he loved her. She said it back. The words felt like ashes in her mouth. Alone in the hospital bed, Rebecca stared at the ceiling, counted tiles again. 1, 2, 3. Her ritual, her comfort, her way of not falling apart. But she couldn't escape the truth pressing down on her chest heavier than any pillow. Something had happened tonight, something terrible. And whether it was attempted murder or a nightmare gone wrong, nothing would ever be the same. I deserve better than this, she thought. The validation whisper came unbidden, clear, true. Her daughter kicked. Rebecca placed both hands on her belly. "I'll protect you," she whispered into the darkness. "Whatever it takes, I promise." She just had no idea how. Morning light filtered through the hospital blinds. Rebecca had barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt the pillow. Saw Garrett's face. Cold. Empty. Wrong. A soft knock on the door made her jump. "Mrs. Morrison?" Hartwell entered. She carried a tablet and wore the same kind expression from last night. "How are you feeling?" "Sore," Rebecca admitted. Her throat still ached when she swallowed. Dr. Hartwell closed the door, checked the hallway, then pulled a chair close to the bed. "Your husband stepped out for coffee," she said. "So we have a few minutes. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. How long has he been hurting you?" Rebecca's first instinct was to deny it, to defend Garrett, to explain that he was under stress, that the business was demanding, that she must have provoked him somehow. But Dr. Hartwell's eyes stopped her. They held something Rebecca hadn't seen in a long time. Belief. This woman believed her without question, without judgment. "I don't know," Rebecca said slowly. The words felt dangerous, like admitting them made everything real. "I thought they were accidents." "Tell me about the accidents." Rebecca took a shaky breath. The memories came flooding back, each one sharper now, clearer. "5 months ago, I fell down the stairs, she said. "I was doing laundry. Garrett was behind me. I felt something, a hand, on my back, but he said I tripped, that he tried to catch me." Dr. Hartwell nodded, made a note on her tablet. "What else?" 3 months ago, I got food poisoning, really bad. Spent 2 days in the hospital, but it was only me. Garrett ate the same dinner. He was fine." "Did he prepare the food?" Rebecca paused. "Yes, he wanted to surprise me. He'd been working late a lot, said he wanted to make it up to me." The pattern was there. She could see it now. How had she missed it before? "Last month," she continued, her voice getting smaller, "the carbon monoxide detector went off at 3 in the morning. The fire department came, said the furnace had malfunctioned, that if we'd slept much longer, we both could have died." "Who called the fire department?" "Garrett. He woke me up, got me outside. I thought he saved my life." Dr. Hartwell set down her tablet. "Rebecca, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to listen carefully. Last year I had a patient, young woman, pregnant. She died from what looked like an accidental fall. Her husband was devastated. Everyone believed it was a tragedy." Rebecca's blood ran cold. "I suspected differently," Dr. Hartwell continued, "but I had no proof, no evidence. He walked away free, started a new life, and I swore if I ever saw the pattern again, I wouldn't stay silent." "You think Garrett is trying to kill me?" It wasn't a question. It was a statement. And saying it out loud made Rebecca's whole body go numb. "I think your husband has made multiple attempts on your life," Dr. Hartwell said gently. "And I think last night you woke up too soon." The hospital room felt too small, too bright. Rebecca couldn't breathe. This was insane. People didn't really do this. Husbands didn't murder their pregnant wives. Except they did. She knew they did. She'd seen the news stories. Read the headlines, never thought she'd become one. A phone buzzed, Rebecca's phone on the bedside table. A text notification lit up the screen. "May I?" Dr. Hartwell asked. Rebecca nodded. Dr. Hartwell picked up the phone. Her expression changed. "Rebecca, when did Garrett change your life insurance policy?" "What?" "There's an email here from an insurance company confirming a policy change last month." Last month, the same time as the carbon monoxide incident. Dr. Hartwell turned the screen toward her. Rebecca read the email, her name, her policy, $5 million. Increase from $1 million, double indemnity for accidental death. Beneficiary, Garrett Morrison. The room spun. Rebecca gripped the bed rail. $5 million. That's what she was worth. Dead. "Oh God," she whispered. "Oh God, oh God, oh God." A knock at the door. Diane's voice. "Becca, it's me." Dr. Hartwell opened the door. Rebecca's best friend rushed in. Diane Russo had known Rebecca since college. She was a graphic designer with bright red hair and zero patience for nonsense. Right now, her face was pale with worry. I got here as fast as I could, Diane said. She hugged Rebecca carefully, mindful of her pregnant belly. Garrett texted me this morning. Said you had a scare last night. Are you okay? No, Rebecca said. The word came out broken. No, I'm really not. She told Diane everything. The pillow, the finger marks, the pattern of accidents, the insurance policy. With each revelation, Diane's expression grew darker. That son of a bitch, Diane said quietly. That absolute son of a bitch. Der Hartwell's der pager buzzed. She checked it. I need to go, but Rebecca, I want you to think about something. You have options. You don't have to go home with him. After she left, Diane sat on the edge of the hospital bed. She's right, you know. You can come stay with me, you and the baby, for as long as you need. Rebecca wanted to say yes, wanted to run, to hide, to never see Garrett again, but fear held her in place. What if she was wrong? What if these really were accidents? What if she was just being paranoid and hormonal and crazy? Except the insurance policy was real. The finger marks on her neck were real. The cold emptiness in Garrett's eyes last night was real. I was being gaslit the whole time, she realized. Every accident, every close call, every time he made her doubt herself, made her think she was clumsy, sick, unlucky. He'd been planning this for months. I need to think, Rebecca said. I need to understand what's happening. Diane squeezed her hand. Okay, but promise me something. Don't be alone with him. Not until we figure this out. Rebecca promised, but even as she did, she knew it was a lie, because Garrett would be back any minute, and she'd have to pretend, have to smile, have to act like nothing had changed. She'd have to survive. The door opened. Garrett entered with fresh flowers and that perfect smile. Good morning, sweetheart. Diane, thanks for coming. Rebecca watched him, really watched him, the way he moved, the way he looked at her. Was there calculation there? Planning? Or was she seeing monsters where there were none? The doctor says you can go home this afternoon, Garrett said. He arranged the flowers in a vase, white roses, her favorite. I've already set up the guest room downstairs, so you don't have to climb stairs. Complete bed rest until the baby comes. Bed rest, isolation, no witnesses. The words took on new meaning now. That's thoughtful, Rebecca said. Her voice sounded distant to her own ears, like someone else was speaking. Garrett kissed her forehead. Anything for you and our daughter. Our daughter. The baby kicked. Rebecca's hands covered her belly protectively. She had 3 weeks until her due date. 3 weeks to figure out if her husband was trying to kill her. 3 weeks to find proof. 3 weeks to save herself and her baby. The clock was ticking, and Garrett was watching. They discharged Rebecca that afternoon. Garrett drove her home in his Mercedes. The leather seats were cool. The car smelled like expensive cologne and new car scent. Everything about Garrett's life was polished. Perfect. Designed to impress. Rebecca stared out the window, watched the city pass by. Each mile closer to home felt like a countdown. To what, she didn't know. But the dread sat heavy in her chest. I've taken the week off work, Garrett said. His hand rested on her knee. I want to make sure you're okay, that you're resting properly. A week, 7 days of him watching her, controlling her movements. She needed to think, to plan, but her mind felt sluggish, overwhelmed. That's not necessary, she said. You have that investor meeting on Thursday. It can wait. You're more important. The words should have been comforting. A year ago they would have been. Now they felt like a threat. They arrived home. The house was a beautiful colonial in an expensive neighborhood. White pillars, manicured lawn, the American dream in architectural form. Rebecca had loved this house when they'd bought it 2 years ago. Now it felt like a prison. Garrett helped her inside. He'd been true to his word. The downstairs guest room was ready. Fresh sheets, flowers on the nightstand, her laptop, her books, everything she might need. Everything to keep her in one place. I'll make dinner, he said. You rest. Rebecca lay down on the bed, listened to him moving around the kitchen. Cabinets opening, water running, the rhythmic chop of a knife on the cutting board. She pulled out her phone, texted Diane. Home now, he's cooking dinner. The response came immediately. Do not eat it. Rebecca stared at the message. 3 words. But they confirmed everything she feared. Her best friend believed Garrett was dangerous, believed he'd try again. A new text appeared. Dr. H wants to talk to you, says it's urgent. Can you call? Rebecca glanced toward the kitchen. Garrett was humming, some classical piece she didn't recognize. The sound made her skin crawl. She dialed Dr. Hartwell's number, kept her voice low. Rebecca, Elena answered immediately. Are you somewhere you can talk? Not really. Okay, just listen. Don't say anything that might alert him. I need to show you something I've been recording. Can you come to my office tomorrow? Tell him it's a follow-up appointment. Why? Because I have proof on video, and you need to see it. Rebecca's heart hammered. Proof of what? That your instincts are right, that you're in danger, that this isn't the first time he's done this. The world tilted. Rebecca gripped the phone. What do you mean, not the first time? Elena's voice was steady, careful. I mean, I've been documenting. Ever since your second accident, the food poisoning, something about it didn't sit right with me. So I started paying attention. And last week, when you came in for your checkup, I installed a camera in the hallway outside my examination room. You recorded him? I recorded a phone conversation he had. While you were getting your ultrasound, Rebecca, he incriminated himself. On camera, and you need to see it. Garrett called from the kitchen. Dinner's almost ready, sweetheart. I have to go, Rebecca whispered. Tomorrow, 10 in the morning. Tell him it's a routine follow-up. I'll be waiting. The call ended. Rebecca deleted the call log. Her hands shook so hard she almost dropped the phone. She did what she always did when panic threatened to overwhelm her. Started counting. 1, 2, 3. The planks in the hardwood floor. 4, 5, 6. Anything to stay calm. To keep the mask in place, Garrett had appeared in the doorway. He carried a tray. Pasta with marinara sauce. Garlic bread. Her favorite meal. Eat up, he said. You need your strength. Rebecca looked at the food. It smelled delicious, looked perfect. But Diane's words echoed in her mind. Do not eat it. I'm not very hungry, she said. The hospital food was really heavy. Garrett's smile tightened. You need to eat for the baby. I know, I will. Just give me a few minutes. He set the tray on the nightstand. I'll be in my office, finishing up some work emails. Call if you need anything. He left. Rebecca waited until she heard his office door close. Then she took the plate of pasta, carried it to the bathroom, flushed it down the toilet in small portions. It took 15 minutes, but every bite disappeared. She returned to the guest room with the empty plate, set it on the tray. Her stomach growled. She was starving, but she'd rather be hungry than poisoned. Her phone buzzed. Diane again. Sending you DoorDash. Say you ordered it earlier as a snack. Don't let him know I sent it. 30 minutes later, Thai food arrived. Rebecca answered the door before Garrett could. Claimed she'd ordered it that afternoon. Wanted something spicy. He frowned but didn't argue. She ate in her room. Every bite tasted like victory. That night, Garrett tried to sleep in the guest room with her. Said he wanted to be close in case she needed anything. Rebecca claimed the bed was too small, that she needed space because of the pregnancy. He relented, took the master bedroom upstairs. She locked the guest room door. At 2 in the morning, she heard footsteps in the hallway. The door handle turned, quietly, slowly. Testing, locked. The footsteps retreated. Rebecca lay in the darkness, her hand on her belly, feeling her daughter move. And she finally let herself acknowledge the truth. Garrett was going to try to kill her again, soon, before the baby came, while she was still vulnerable, still dependent, still believable as an accident. She had to move first. The next morning, she told Garrett about the follow-up appointment. He insisted on driving her. She'd expected that, prepared for it. Dr. Hartwell's office was in a medical building near the hospital. Elena met them in the waiting room. Professional, polite. She shook Garrett's hand. Just a routine checkup, she said, making sure everything is progressing normally after last night's scare. Garrett nodded. I'll wait here. In the examination room, Elena locked the door, pulled out a tablet. Her expression was grim. What I'm about to show you is difficult, she said, But you need to see it. You need to know what you're dealing with. She pressed play. The video showed the hallway outside this very room. Date stamp 1 week ago. Rebecca remembered this appointment. She'd been getting her weekly ultrasound. Everything had been fine. Normal. Happy. On screen, Garrett stood in the hallway, his phone to his ear. Elena turned up the volume. Garrett's voice came through clearly. The baby comes in 3 weeks. It has to look natural before then. An unknown male voice responded. The pillow thing is risky, man. I've practiced, Garrett said. His tone was casual, like he was discussing a golf game. Petechial hemorrhaging happens in sleep. Pregnant women have complications all the time. No one will question it. What about the insurance? Already handled. $5 million, double indemnity for accidental death. Pays out immediately. And the other situation? Garrett laughed, actually laughed. Vanessa doesn't suspect anything. She thinks I'm leaving Rebecca after the baby is born, thinks we're going to be a family. Once the payout comes through, I'll phase her out too. Keep the money. Start fresh. The video continued, but Rebecca couldn't hear anymore. Her ears were ringing, the room spun. She watched herself on the screen, sitting in this same examination room, smiling at the ultrasound, talking to the technician about baby names and nursery colors, completely oblivious that her husband was in the hallway planning her murder. I was dead already, she realized. I just didn't know it. Who's Vanessa? Elena asked gently. Rebecca couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The name meant nothing to her, but clearly it meant something to Garrett. Elena played another clip, this one from 3 days ago. Garrett in the same hallway, different phone call. The furnace didn't work, the stairs didn't work. The food poisoning nearly worked, but she recovered too fast. His voice was frustrated, clinical. I need something foolproof. The pillow is my best option. Quick, quiet, can be explained as a nightmare. Sleep paralysis. She's been having anxiety. Everyone knows that. Rebecca's vision blurred. She realized she was crying, silent tears streaming down her face. I've seen him practice, Garrett continued on the recording, with pillows at home, getting the pressure right, making sure there's no evidence, just suffocation, maybe a few petechial hemorrhages. But those happen in pregnancy too. Gestational complications. No one will look twice. The recording ended. Elena set down the tablet. I have 4 more conversations like this, all recorded over the past month, all detailing his plans, his methods, his motivations. Rebecca finally found her voice. How long have you suspected? Since the food poisoning, but I had no proof. So I started watching, listening. And when you came in for your checkup last week, something in his behavior triggered my instincts. So I installed the camera. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I needed to be sure. You were right. Rebecca's voice was hollow, empty. He tried, last night, with the pillow, exactly like he said. I know, that's why I called Detective Cross this morning. He's waiting to speak with you. Detective? Rebecca, this isn't just attempted murder. This is premeditated, calculated. And there's apparently another woman involved. Someone named Vanessa. The police need to know everything. Rebecca nodded numbly. Her whole world had shattered. The man she loved, the father of her baby, had been planning to kill her for months, practicing, refining his method, treating her death like a business transaction. And there was someone else, Vanessa, another woman who thought Garrett loved her, who was apparently part of his plan. Or maybe another victim. I need to use your bathroom, Rebecca said. Elena pointed to the small attached bathroom. Rebecca locked herself inside, sat on the closed toilet lid, fully clothed, and let herself break. She didn't scream, didn't sob, just sat there, water running in the sink to cover any sound, feeling her daughter kick, alive, unaware, innocent. The bathroom tiles were white, clean, hospital sterile. She counted them. 1, 2, 3, her ritual, her anchor, 4, 5, 6. I'm not crazy, she thought. The validation whisper was clear. Strong, I know what I saw, what I heard. He wants me dead. But there was something else too, something underneath the fear and betrayal, anger, hot, bright, clarifying. He wasn't going to win. She wouldn't let him. Her daughter deserved better. She deserved better. Somewhere along the way, I became invisible, she realized. I let him make me small, dependent, easy to erase. Not anymore. She washed her face, straightened her shoulders, opened the bathroom door. Elena waited with a kind-faced man in his 50s. He had salt and pepper hair and tired eyes that had seen too much. "Mrs. Morrison," he said, "I'm Detective Nathan Cross. I think we need to talk." Detective Cross had 3 daughters. He mentioned this within the first 5 minutes of their conversation. Not as small talk, but as a promise. He understood. He believed her, and he was going to help. "I've seen the recordings," he said. They sat in Elena's office. The door locked. Garrett's still in the waiting room, unaware. "Hartwell sent them to me this morning, along with documentation of your injuries from 2 nights ago. The finger marks, the petechial hemorrhaging, the pattern of previous accidents." Rebecca twisted her wedding ring, on, off, a nervous habit she'd developed over the past year. When had that started? When had she become this anxious person? "What happens now?" she asked. Detective Cross leaned forward. His expression was serious. "That's up to you. We have evidence of planning, intent. The recordings are damning, but we don't have evidence of the actual attempt. Not yet." "What do you mean? He tried to suffocate me." "I believe you. Dart Hartwell believes you. But in court, we need more than injuries that could theoretically be explained away. We need him caught in the act, or we need him to confess, or we need to build such an overwhelming case that his lawyers can't defend him." "How do we do that?" Detective Cross exchanged a look with Elena. "We need you to do something very difficult. We need you to go home with him, act normal, and help us gather more evidence." The room tilted. "You want me to go back there? With him? Knowing what he's planning?" "I know what I'm asking," Detective Cross said. His voice was gentle. "And I wouldn't ask if I thought there was another way. But right now, if we arrest him, his lawyers will claim the recordings are circumstantial, that he was joking, role-playing, venting frustration, without concrete proof of a that he could walk." Rebecca's hands shook. She pressed them against her belly. Her daughter kicked. Strong, insistent. "What kind of evidence do you need?" "Financial records showing motive, communication with this Vanessa person to establish the affair, witnesses who can testify to his behavior, and ideally we catch him attempting again, with you wired, with surveillance." "You want to use me as bait?" "Yes," Detective Cross didn't sugarcoat it, "but you won't be alone. We will have officers nearby. We'll wire your phone, your purse. We'll monitor everything. The moment he tries something, we move in." Elena touched Rebecca's hand. "You don't have to do this. You can leave right now. Stay with a friend. File for divorce. Protect yourself and the baby." "And let him walk free?" Rebecca's voice was stronger than she expected. "Let him do this to someone else? To Vanessa?" "We don't know who Vanessa is yet," Detective Cross said, "but we're looking into it, checking his phone records, following his movements. We'll find her." Rebecca thought about the recording, Garrett's casual tone. "Vanessa doesn't suspect anything. She thinks I'm leaving Rebecca after the baby is born. Thinks we're going to be a family. Another woman. Pregnant. In love. Being manipulated the same way Rebecca had been." "If I do this," Rebecca said slowly, "if I go back and pretend everything is normal, what are my chances of surviving?" Detective Cross didn't lie to her. She appreciated that. "With our surveillance, with Elena monitoring your medical status?" "High, very high, but I can't guarantee your safety. He's smart, methodical. If he suspects you know, he could accelerate his timeline." "How long?" "A week, maybe 2. We move fast, get the financial records, track down Vanessa, build the case. Then we arrest him and you disappear into protective custody until trial. 2 weeks, 14 days of pretending. Of sleeping in the same house as a man who wanted her dead. Of eating food he prepared. Of trusting that the police would catch him before he caught her. It was insane, but the alternative was letting him win." "Okay," Rebecca said. "Tell me what to do." Detective Cross outlined the plan. They would wire her phone. install recording software that would transmit everything to a secure server, give her a panic button disguised as a pendant. Officers would be stationed nearby at all times, watching, waiting. Don't confront him, Detective Cross warned. Don't let him know you suspect anything. Act exactly as you have been, loving wife, excited mother-to-be. Give him no reason to change his plan. And if he tries again, with the pillow, you press the panic button. We're in your house within 60 seconds. But Rebecca, he probably won't try the same method twice. Not immediately. He'll be cautious after the hospital stay. He'll wait for a better opportunity. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. They fitted her with the recording equipment, showed her how the panic button worked, gave her a burner phone to contact them if needed. Then Elena examined her one more time. The baby is fine, she said. Strong heartbeat, good movement, but I want you to come in every other day. Regular checkups. It gives us a safe place to communicate, and it documents your condition. If anything happens, we'll have medical records showing you were healthy, that complications weren't natural. Rebecca nodded. She felt like she was preparing for war. In a way, she went, I saw you. Garrett was reading a magazine when she returned to the waiting room. He looked up, smiled. The same warm smile that had made her fall in love 4 years ago. Now it made her skin crawl. Everything okay? He asked. Perfect, Rebecca lied. Baby is doing great. Dr. Hartwell wants me to come back Thursday for another checkup, just to be safe. I'll drive you. Of course he would. Control disguised as care. They drove home in silence. Rebecca pretended to sleep, kept her breathing steady, even. But her mind raced, planning, calculating, surviving. At home, Garrett made lunch, sandwiches. Rebecca watched him prepare them, saw him take her sandwich into his office for a moment, returned with it on a plate. She didn't eat it, claimed she felt nauseous. Pregnancy hormones. He threw it away without argument. That night, she lay in the guest room, door locked, phone recording, panic button around her neck, and waited. At 2:15 in the morning, she heard it. Footsteps in the hallway, the door handle turning, testing the lock. Then Garrett's his voice, soft, through the door. Becca, are you awake? She pretended to sleep, breathing slowly, evenly, while rage burned white-hot behind her ribs. This was her mirror technique moment, the thing every woman who had pretended everything was fine would recognize. Lying still, playing possum, avoiding confrontation. Because confrontation meant danger, the footsteps retreated. Rebecca opened her eyes in the darkness, stared at the ceiling, and started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not counting tiles now, counting days. Days until this was over. Days until she was safe. Days until Garrett was in handcuffs. Her daughter kicked. Rebecca placed both hands on her belly. We're going to make it, she whispered. I promise we're going to survive this. She just hoped it was a promise she could keep. The next morning, Garrett announced he had a meeting. Business. Unavoidable. He'd be gone for 2 hours. Rebecca waited until his car disappeared down the street. Then she called Detective Cross. He's gone. You said you needed financial records? Already on it, Detective Cross replied. I have a warrant for his business accounts, but personal records would help. Do you have access to his home office? Rebecca looked at the closed office door. Garrett's sanctuary. He'd always been protective of it. Private. She'd respected that boundary, until now. I have a key, she said. Be careful. Take photos of everything. Don't move anything. We can't let him know you've been in there. The office was exactly what she expected. Leather furniture, mahogany desk, expensive artwork, everything designed to impress, to project success. Rebecca opened his laptop, tried his usual password. Access denied. She tried variations. Their anniversary, her birthday, his birthday. Nothing worked. Then she remembered. His mother's maiden name. The security question for everything, Caldwell. The screen unlocked. Rebecca's hands shook as she opened his email. There were hundreds of messages, business deals, client communications, nothing suspicious on the surface. Then she saw a folder marked V. She clicked it. Emails to someone named Vanessa Crane. Dozens of them, dating back 6 months. Rebecca read them, each one a knife to the heart. Can't wait to see you tonight, baby. I told her I'm working late. We have until midnight. You looked beautiful yesterday. That dress. God, I can't stop thinking about you. The pregnancy is going well. Our son is going to be perfect. Rebecca stopped breathing. Our son. Vanessa was pregnant with Garrett's child. She kept reading. The timeline became clear. Vanessa was 6 months pregnant. Rebecca was 8 months, which meant Garrett had gotten Vanessa pregnant while Rebecca was already expecting. He'd planned this. 2 women, 2 babies, 2 insurance policies. Rebecca's phone buzzed. Diane, you okay? Haven't heard from you. Rebecca typed back with shaking hands. Found out about the mistress? She's pregnant too. The response was immediate. What? Rebecca sent photos of the emails to Detective Cross, heard her phone buzz with his incoming call. Mrs. Morrison, this is good. This establishes motive, pattern of deception. But I need you to keep looking. Find financial records, bank statements, insurance documents. Rebecca dug deeper, found a folder marked personal finance. What she found made her stomach turn. Garrett's company was hemorrhaging money, bad investments, gambling debts. He owed $3 million to people with names that sounded dangerous, the kind of people who didn't accept late payments. The life insurance policy on Rebecca would pay $5 million. Clear his debts, leave him with $2 million to spare. And there was another document, a life insurance policy on Vanessa Crane for $2 million, taken out 3 months ago. He was going to kill them both. Rebecca photographed everything, sent it all to Detective Cross. Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely hold the phone. A car door slammed outside. Garrett was back early. Rebecca closed the laptop, locked the office, ran to the guest room. She was sitting on the bed, reading a book, when Garrett entered the house. I'm home, he called. In here, she replied. Her voice sounded almost normal. He appeared in the doorway, carrying a takeout bags. Brought lunch, that Thai place you like. The same place Diane had ordered from. Was he watching her, tracking her food deliveries? Thank you, Rebecca said. She took the food, didn't eat it, claimed she'd snack on it later. That afternoon, Detective Cross called with an update. Vanessa Crane worked in pharmaceutical sales. 26 years old, lived in an apartment across town. No husband, no boyfriend listed on social media. We're going to approach her, Detective Cross said. See if she knows about you, about Garrett's plans. She might be another victim, or she might be complicit. When? Tonight. We'll keep you updated. Rebecca spent the afternoon planning, thinking, surviving. She'd learned the pattern now, Garrett's rhythms, his tells. When he was planning something, he got quieter, more attentive, overly solicitous. Like now, he made dinner, her favorite at pasta carbonara, brought it to her on a tray with flowers, candles, the perfect romantic gesture. Rebecca's stomach turned. This was how he operated, love and murder intertwined, impossible to separate. She pretended to eat, moved food around the plate, took small bites when he watched, disposed of the rest when he didn't. I was thinking about names, Garrett said. He sat on the edge of the bed, his hand on her knee. For our daughter. What do you think of Sophia? Our daughter, like he had any right to claim her, like he hadn't been planning to kill them both. It's beautiful, Rebecca said. The lie came easily now. Sophia Morrison, Garrett mused. I can see it, strong, classic. She'll be amazing, Becca. Smart like you, beautiful like you, everything we've dreamed of. You're going to prison, Rebecca thought, and I'm going to watch. But out loud, she just smiled. I can't wait to meet her. Garrett leaned in, kissed her forehead. His lips felt like ice. Maybe we should update your will, he said casually. You know, just in case. Complications happen in childbirth. We should make sure everything is in order, for Sophia's sake. There it was, the real reason for this romantic dinner. He wanted her to update her will, make sure he got everything if she died. That's morbid, Rebecca said. She forced a laugh. I'm not planning on dying. Of course not, but we should be prepared. I've been thinking, If anything happened to you, I'd want to make sure Sophia had everything. Your family money, the house, all of it protected. Rebecca's family had money. Not millions, but enough. Her parents had left her a trust fund when they died. $500,000. She'd never touched it, saved it for the future, for their child's education. Garrett wanted that too. I'll think about it, Rebecca said. His expression hardened, just for a second. Then the mask slipped back into place. Of course, no rush, just something to consider. He left her alone. Rebecca waited until she heard his office door close. Then she texted Detective Cross. He's pressuring me to update my will, trying to access my family trust. The response was quick. Don't do it. We're moving faster. Found Vanessa, approaching her tonight. Rebecca's phone buzzed again, this time an unknown number. This is Marcus Flynn, Garrett's business partner. We need to talk. It's urgent. She stared at the message. Marcus Flynn. She'd met him once or twice, quiet, serious. Garrett had mentioned they were having disagreements about the company direction. Can't talk now, she typed. Husband is home, tomorrow, coffee shop on Main Street. 10 a.m., come alone. What I have to tell you could save your life. Rebecca's heart raced. She forwarded the message to Detective Cross. His reply came within seconds. I'll have officers nearby. Go to the meeting. Hear what he has to say. Rebecca deleted the messages. Her hands were shaking again. She did her breathing exercise. In for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Out for 4. The therapist she'd seen last year had taught her that. For anxiety, she'd thought. Now she realized the anxiety had been a warning. Her body knew before her mind did. Garrett was dangerous. That night she locked her door, placed a chair against it, slept with the panic button in her hand. At 3 a.m, she heard him, testing the door, checking, planning. She lay perfectly still, counted her breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tomorrow she'd meet Marcus, find out what he knew, build the case. One more piece of evidence, one more nail in Garrett's coffin. Her daughter kicked, strong, alive, fighting. Me too, baby, Rebecca whispered. Me too. The coffee shop on Main Street was busy, morning rush, people grabbing lattes before work. The air smelled like espresso and fresh pastries. Normal, safe, public. Rebecca chose a table near the window. Detective Cross had officers stationed outside. She could see an unmarked car across the street, another at the corner. It should have been comforting. It wasn't. Marcus Flynn arrived exactly at 10. He was 45, wearing an expensive suit that didn't quite hide how tired he looked. Dark circles under his eyes. The weight of secrets. Mrs. Morrison, he said. He didn't sit right away, looked around nervously. Thank you for meeting me. What's this about? He sat, leaned in, kept his voice low. Your husband is going to kill you. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but you need to know, and I think you already do. Rebecca's coffee cup trembled in her hands. Why are you telling me this? Because my wife is pregnant, Marcus said simply. 8 months, our first child. And I keep thinking about her, about our baby, about what I'd do if someone tried to hurt them. He paused. I'd want someone to warn me, to help me, so I'm warning you. What do you know? Marcus pulled out his phone, showed her a spreadsheet. Garrett's been embezzling from our company, over $2 million in the past year. Gambling, bad investments, funding his lifestyle. I discovered it 3 months ago. Did you confront him? Yes, he promised to pay it back. Said he had a plan, a way to clear everything. I thought he meant working harder, taking on more clients. Marcus's voice cracked. Then I overheard him on the phone 2 weeks ago, talking about insurance policies, about making sure things look natural, about timing. Rebecca felt sick. What did he say exactly? He said the baby comes in 3 weeks, that complications happen, that no one questions pregnancy deaths, that 5 million would solve all his problems. Marcus met her eyes. I didn't want to believe it, thought maybe I misheard, but then you had that hospital visit, the suffocation scare, and I knew. Why didn't you go to the police? I did, yesterday. Gave them everything, financial records, proof of embezzlement, recordings of suspicious conversations I'd saved. He slid a folder across the table. I made you copies. Everything you need to protect yourself. Rebecca opened the folder. Bank statements, transaction records, emails discussing the embezzlement, and a recording file on a USB drive labeled Insurance Conversation, October 15. What's on this? Garrett talking to someone about increasing your life insurance, discussing double indemnity clauses, making sure the policy would pay out for accidental death. Marcus's hand shook. Mrs. Morrison, I'm complicit in this. I didn't act fast enough. Didn't warn you soon enough. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're helping now, Rebecca said. That matters. She pocketed the USB drive. The folder felt heavy. Damning, this was it. The financial motive. The pattern of planning. Combined with Elena's recordings and her own injuries, this was enough. One more thing, Marcus said. There's another woman. Vanessa. Garrett's been seeing her. She's pregnant too. I know. Marcus looked surprised. You know? I found the emails, the life insurance policy on her. He's planning to kill us both, isn't he? Marcus nodded. I think so. Clear his debts. Start fresh. Vanessa doesn't know about you, thinks Garrett is divorced. He's been lying to her for months. The police are approaching her today, telling her the truth. Good. Marcus stood. I have to go. My lawyer advised me to cooperate fully with the investigation. I'm turning state's evidence, testifying against Garrett. But I wanted you to have this, to know you're not alone. He left. Rebecca sat alone with her coffee and her folder of evidence. Around her, people lived normal lives, complained about traffic, planned their weekends, had no idea that someone at the corner table was gathering evidence to put her husband in prison. Her phone buzzed. Detective Cross. Officers just made contact with Vanessa Crane. She's cooperating, coming in for interview this afternoon. This is breaking open, Mrs. Morrison. Rebecca drove home. Garrett's car was in the driveway. He was supposed to be at work. Fear spiked through her. She found him in the kitchen, making lunch. He looked up when she entered. His smile was strained. Where were you? Doctor's appointment, Rebecca lied. She'd gotten good at lying. Elena wanted to check on me. I called her office. They said you didn't have an appointment today. Rebecca's blood went cold. He'd been checking on her, tracking her. She thought fast. I went to a different doctor, getting a second opinion. Elena's been great, but I wanted another perspective on the birth plan. Garrett's eyes narrowed. What doctor? Someone Diane recommended, over on Oak Street. Name? This was a test. He was suspicious. She had to be careful. Dr. Patterson? Why? Just curious. Garrett's tone was light. Too light. Want to make sure you're getting the best care. He'd check, call every Dr. Patterson in the area, verify her story. She needed to tell Detective Cross. Have them create a paper trail. Fast. Lunch? Garrett asked. He held up a sandwich. I ate at the doctor's office, Rebecca said. I'm going to rest. She retreated to the guest room, locked the door, texted Detective Cross about the lie. About Garrett checking? We'll handle it, he replied. Stay calm. Stick to your story. That afternoon, Detective Cross sent an update. Vanessa Crane had been interviewed. She was devastated. Had no idea Garrett was married. Had no idea about the insurance policies. She thought they were planning a future together. She's agreed to testify, Detective Cross wrote. She's 6 months pregnant with his child. He told her you were his ex-wife, that the divorce was final, that you'd moved across the country. Rebecca felt an unexpected surge of sympathy. Vanessa was a victim too. Manipulated. Used. Another woman whose life Garrett had decided was expendable. The police are preparing arrest warrants, as Detective Cross continued. Financial crimes, insurance fraud, attempted murder. We're moving in 72 hours. Can you hold on that long? 3 more days, 72 hours of pretending, of surviving, of waiting for Garrett to make his next move. I can do it, Rebecca typed. But she wasn't sure she believed it. That night, Garrett was different, quieter, watchful. He'd noticed something was off. She could see it in his eyes, the calculation, the planning. He made dinner, insisted she eat at the table with him. Not in her room. She couldn't refuse without raising more suspicion. The pasta tasted fine. She ate small bites, watched him carefully. He ate the same food, from the same pot, so it wasn't poisoned. Yet. We should talk about after the baby comes, Garrett said. About our future. Okay. I've been thinking about selling the house, moving somewhere smaller, more manageable, less expensive. Rebecca's trust fund. He wanted access to it, wanted to liquidate assets, consolidate everything before he made his move. That seems premature, she said carefully. Maybe we should wait until after Sophia is born. See how we feel then. I think we should decide now, put the house on the market, transfer funds, be ready for our new life. Our new life, the words dripped with false promise. I need time to think about it, Rebecca said. Garrett's jaw tightened. We don't have time. The housing market is good right now. We need to move fast. Then why the rush? For just a moment, his mask slipped. She saw anger, frustration, desperation. Then it was gone, replaced with his perfect smile. No rush, he said smoothly. Just planning ahead, being responsible. After dinner, Rebecca excused herself, said she was tired, needed to rest. Garrett didn't argue. In her room, she texted Detective Cross about the conversation, about Garrett's pressure to sell the house, move money. He knows something's wrong, she wrote. He's accelerating. We're moving up the timeline, Detective Cross replied. Arrest warrant will be ready by tomorrow afternoon. One more day, Mrs. Morrison. Can you make it one more day? Rebecca looked at her locked door, at her panic button, at her phone recording everything. One more day. Yes, she typed. One more day. But that night at 2:30 in the morning, she heard something that made her blood run cold. Garrett, in the hallway, talking on the phone. Tomorrow night, he said. His voice was low but clear. I can't wait any longer. She's suspicious, checking up on me. I need to move now before she does something stupid. What about the police? The other voice was tinny, on speakerphone maybe. No evidence, just suspicions. If I move fast, make it look natural, they'll have nothing. Pregnant woman, complications. It happens all the time. The method? Carbon monoxide. The detector is already disabled. I'll say I was checking it, forgot to turn it back on. She'll go to sleep. Never wake up. Quick. Painless. Perfect. Rebecca's hand found the panic button. Pressed it. Hard. Within 30 seconds, she heard sirens. Tires screeching, shouting. The cavalry had arrived. The police burst through the front door with a battering ram. Rebecca heard it from her locked guest room. The crash of wood splintering, shouted commands. Garrett's voice rising in panic and outrage. What is this? What are you doing? I'm calling my lawyer. Garrett Morrison, you're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and insurance fraud. Detective Cross's voice. Calm, authoritative, final. Rebecca sat on the edge of her bed, hands shaking, panic button still clutched in her palm. She'd done it. He was caught. It was over. Except it wasn't. A gentle knock on her door. Mrs. Morrison, it's Detective Cross. You're safe now. Can you open the door? Rebecca unlocked it with trembling hands. Detective Cross stood there with two female officers. Behind them, she could see Garrett in handcuffs. His face was red with fury. When he saw her, something cold and terrible crossed his expression. You did this, he said. His voice was venomous. You ungrateful bitch. After everything I've given you, this is how you repay me? One of the officers pulled him toward the door. Keep moving. I'll destroy you, Garrett shouted. You and that bastard baby. You'll have nothing when I'm done with you. Nothing. When they dragged him out, the door slammed, and suddenly the house was silent. Rebecca stood in the hallway, stared at the space where her husband had been, the man she'd loved, the father of her child. Now just another criminal being hauled away in handcuffs. She should have felt relief, victory, something. Instead, she felt nothing. Mrs. Morrison? Detective Cross touched her elbow gently. We need to get you somewhere safe. He made threats. We take those seriously. Where? Safe house, just for tonight. Tomorrow we'll arrange more permanent protection until the trial. Rebecca nodded, moved like a robot. Let the officers pack a bag for her, toiletries, clothes, her laptop, the folder Marcus had given her. As they led her out to the unmarked car, she looked back at the house. Their house. The place where she dreamed of raising her daughter, of building a life, of being happy. Now it was just a crime scene. Another place Garrett had tried to kill her. The safe house was a nondescript apartment in a secured building. 2 bedrooms, basic furniture. Nothing personal, nothing that felt like home. Officers will be stationed outside, Detective Cross said. You'll be safe here. Try to rest. Rest. The word seemed impossible. After he left, Rebecca stood in the middle of the living room. Alone. Truly alone for the first time in days. No Garrett watching her. No cameras recording. No performance required. She walked to the bathroom, turned on the shower, sat on the floor fully clothed, let the water pour over her. And finally, she let herself break. The tears came in waves. Grief for the marriage she'd thought she had. Horror at how close she'd come to dying. Rage at Garrett's betrayal. Shame that she hadn't seen it sooner. Hadn't protected herself better. The water was scalding. She couldn't feel it. Couldn't feel anything but her daughter moving. Alive. Unaware. Innocent. She'd saved them. Barely. By the thinnest margin. What if she'd been wrong? What if she'd ignored her instincts? What if Dr. Hartwell hadn't been suspicious? What if she'd eaten that dinner, slept with the carbon monoxide detector disabled? She'd be dead. Her daughter would be dead. And Garrett would be collecting $5 million. The thought made her physically sick. She leaned over the toilet, vomited. Nothing came up. She'd barely eaten in days, just dry heaves and terror. Someone knocked on the bathroom door. Mrs. Morrison, it's Officer Chen. Are you all right? Fine, Rebecca managed. Just morning sickness. Lies came so easily now. She turned off the shower, changed into dry clothes, looked at herself in the mirror. She barely recognized the woman staring back. Hollow eyes, gaunt cheeks, the face of someone who'd been through war, 8 months pregnant, alone, hunted. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. She'd imagined this pregnancy so differently. Excitement, joy, preparing a nursery with the man she loved. Instead, she'd spent the past few days documenting evidence, avoiding poison, sleeping with a panic button. Her phone buzzed. Diane, Detective Cross told me everything. I'm coming over. Don't try to stop me. 20 minutes later, Diane arrived with Thai food, chocolate, and a fierce hug. You absolute badass, Diane said. You took down a would-be murderer while 8 months pregnant. You're my hero. Rebecca laughed. It came out wrong, broken. I don't feel like a hero. I feel like I'm falling apart. Then fall apart. You've earned it. They sat on the couch. Diane held her while Rebecca cried. Really cried. Not the silent tears in the hospital or the numb shock in the shower. Real, ugly, gasping tears. I loved him, Rebecca said between hiccups. I really loved him. How did I not see it? How did I miss all the signs? Because he's a sociopath, Diane said bluntly. Because he's good at lying. Because you're a normal person who assumes other people aren't monsters. None of this is your fault. I should have known. Stop. Stop right now. Diane gripped Rebecca's shoulders. Listen to me. You survived. That's what matters. You and baby girl survived. Everything else is just noise. Rebecca nodded, wiped her eyes, tried to believe it. Her phone buzzed again. Hartwell, I heard what happened. How are you feeling? Any contractions, pain? Bleeding? Rebecca checked. No contractions, just her daughter's regular movements. Strong kicks, hiccups, the reassuring signs of life. I'm okay, she texted back. Baby is active. Come see me tomorrow. I want to check you both, make sure the stress hasn't triggered early labor. That night, Rebecca lay in the unfamiliar bed in the safe house, stared at the ceiling, started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this time she wasn't counting tiles. She was counting everything she'd lost. 1, her marriage, alive from the start. 2, her home, now a crime scene. 3, her trust, in people. In love, in happy endings. 4, her innocence, the belief that bad things happen to other people. 5, her identity as Garrett's wife. Who was she without that? 6, her certainty about the future. Everything was chaos now, but there were things she'd gained too. One, her life. She was alive. Two, her daughter's life. Sophia would be born, would grow up, would thrive. Three, her strength. She'd survive this. She could survive anything. Four, the truth, painful but real. Five, allies. Dugouch Hartwell, Detective Cross, Diane, Marcus, even Vanessa. Six, her voice. She'd stop it pretending. Started fighting back. The hardest part wasn't the pillow, she realized. It wasn't the poison or the carbon monoxide or any of Garrett's attempts. The hardest part was admitting I knew all along something was wrong. Trusting that voice saved us. She placed both hands on her belly, felt her daughter kick. We made it through the worst part, Rebecca whispered. Now we just have to stay alive until you're born. Then we start over. Just you and me. No more hiding, no more fear. I promise. At 2 in the morning, she got a call from Detective Cross. Garrett made bail, he said. His voice was grim. His mother posted it. $2 million. He's out. Rebecca's blood ran cold. But he threatened me. You heard him. Judge issued a restraining order. He can't come within 500 feet. He's under house arrest with an ankle monitor. But Mrs. Morrison, you need to know, his lawyers are good, expensive. They're already building a defense, claiming the recordings are taken out of context, that he was venting frustration, not planning murder, that you're unstable, hormonal, making false accusations. What? They're going to paint you as the villain, the jealous wife who discovered the affair, and fabricated evidence. It's going to get ugly. Rebecca closed her eyes. Of course Garrett would twist this, make himself the victim. That was what he did. Manipulate, lie, control the narrative. What do? You stay safe, you prepare to testify, and you trust the evidence. We have recordings, financial records, medical documentation, witness testimony from Marcus and Vanessa. The truth will come out. After the call ended, Rebecca sat in the darkness, feeling her daughter move, feeling the weight of what was coming. A trial, public scrutiny, Garrett's lawyers trying to destroy her credibility, the media circus, strangers dissecting her marriage, her choices, her life. She thought about giving up, about running, disappearing, taking her daughter and starting over somewhere far away where Garrett could never find them. But that would mean he won. That would mean he'd gotten away with it. And what about Vanessa? What about the next woman? Because there would be a next woman. Sociopaths didn't change. They just found new victims. No, she had to see this through. Starting over feels impossible, she thought, but staying feels worse. So she'd start over. Not by running away, but by fighting back, by testifying, by making sure everyone knew exactly who Garrett Morrison really was. A monster in an expensive suit. A killer who almost got away with it. But not anymore. Rebecca looked at the clock. 4 hours until sunrise. 4 hours until she could call Dr. Hartwell, get checked, make sure her daughter was okay. Then the real fight would begin. Hartwell's office felt like sanctuary, familiar, safe. Rebecca sat on the examination table while Elena checked her blood pressure, listened to the baby's heartbeat, did a quick ultrasound. Everything looks perfect, Elena said. Your blood pressure is a bit elevated, but considering what you've been through, that's expected. Baby is measuring right on track. Strong heartbeat, good movement. Rebecca watched the screen. Her daughter, so close now, just a few more weeks. When's your due date again? 3 weeks, October 28th. And Garrett's trial? Starts in 5 days, preliminary hearing, then the actual trial in a month. Elena nodded, made notes in Rebecca's chart. I'm going to recommend you deliver here, at this hospital, under my direct supervision. Given everything that's happened, I want to ensure your safety during labor and delivery. You think Garrett might try something, even in custody? I think we can't be too careful, and I want to be there to make sure you and Sophia are protected. Sophia, the name had stuck. Rebecca had decided officially. Sophia Morrison, though she'd probably change the last name, didn't want her daughter carrying Garrett's name. Sophia Caldwell, maybe, her mother's maiden name. A fresh start. Thank you, Rebecca said, for everything, for suspecting, for recording, for saving us. You saved yourself, Elena replied. I just gave you tools. You did the hard part. You survived. That word again, survived. It should feel triumphant. It mostly felt exhausting. Rebecca left the hospital. The safe house had become claustrophobic. She needed air, space, something normal. She called Diane. Coffee, Diane suggested. That place on 5th? The one with the good pastries? They met an hour later. Public, safe. Officers stationed nearby, watching for Garrett even though he was supposedly under house arrest with an ankle monitor. How are you really doing? Diane asked. She'd brought a chocolate croissant, Rebecca's favorite. I don't know, Rebecca admitted. Some moments I feel strong, like I can do this. Other moments I feel like I'm drowning. That's normal. You're processing trauma while preparing to give birth and testify in court. Anyone would be overwhelmed. Rebecca tore the croissant into small pieces, ate them slowly. Garrett's lawyers called. They want to settle. Offer me a divorce with a generous settlement if I drop the charges. How generous? $3 million. The house, full custody of Sophia. He disappears from our lives forever. Diane's eyes widened. And that's a lot of money. It's blood money, and it means he walks free. No consequences for attempting murder. Just money and a fresh start for him. What did you tell them? That I'd think about it. Are you actually considering it? Rebecca looked out the window, watched people walking by, normal lives, normal problems. Part of me wants to say yes, take the money, protect my daughter, never see him again, move on. And the other part? The other part remembers Vanessa, remembers that he would have killed us both, remembers that if he gets away with this, he'll do it again to someone else. Rebecca's jaw tightened, and that part wants to watch him burn. Diane smiled. There's my girl. That afternoon, Rebecca met with Beth Carmichael, the prosecutor. Beth's office was all business, law books, case files, a photo of her graduating from law school. Everything sharp, focused, competent. The defense is going to attack your credibility, Beth said bluntly. They'll claim you're emotionally unstable, that the pregnancy made you paranoid, that you misinterpreted innocent conversations and accidents. How do we counter that? With facts, medical evidence, the recordings, financial records, witness testimony. We build such an overwhelming case that their narrative falls apart. Beth leaned forward. But I need to know, can you handle cross-examination? They're going to be brutal, personal, invasive. Rebecca thought about it, really thought about it. Could she sit on a stand while Garrett's expensive lawyers tried to destroy her, questioned her sanity, her motives, her marriage? Yes, she said, I can handle it. Even if they bring up your past, your therapy, your anxiety? I went to therapy because my husband was gaslighting me. My anxiety was a warning sign. They can bring it up all they want. I'll own it. Beth smiled. Good, because we go to preliminary hearing in 3 days. I need you ready. Rebecca spent those 3 days preparing, reviewing evidence, going over her testimony, practicing with Beth. She learned to stay calm, to answer only what was asked, to not let them rattle her. On the third night, Vanessa called. I hope it's okay, Vanessa said. Her voice was small, uncertain. Detective Cross gave me your number. I wanted to talk, if you're willing. They met at a quiet restaurant, neutral ground. Vanessa was beautiful, young, 6 months pregnant with a visible bump. She looked terrified. I didn't know, Vanessa said immediately, about you, about being married. He showed me divorce papers, told me you'd moved to California, that it was finalized. I believed him. I know, Rebecca said, and she did. She recognized that look. The shame, the betrayal, the confusion. She'd worn it herself. We're both his victims. I'm so sorry for my part in this, for being with him, for... Stop. Rebecca reached across the table, took Vanessa's hand. You did nothing wrong. He's a liar, a manipulator. You couldn't have known. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. I loved him. I thought we were building a life together. And now I'm pregnant and alone, and he tried to kill us both, and I don't know what to do. You testify, you tell the truth, you make sure he pays for what he did. What about after? What about the baby? Rebecca had thought about this. Her daughter and Vanessa's son would be half siblings, innocent children caught in Garrett's web. After, Rebecca said slowly, we figure it out. Together, our kids didn't ask for this, but they deserve better than Garrett. Maybe they deserve to know each other, have family, real family. Vanessa squeezed her hand. Thank you for not hating me. I don't hate you. I understand you. We're the same, just women who believed a liar. You say, and they talked for 2 hours, compared stories, timelines, the lies Garrett had told them both, how he'd kept them separated, controlled the narrative, made each of them believe they were special, chosen, loved. It was textbook manipulation, and they'd both fallen for it, but not anymore. When they parted, Vanessa hugged her. We're going to be okay, both of us. We survived him. Rebecca drove back to the safe house, sat in the parking lot for a moment before going inside. She did this sometimes now, sat in parked car, unable to go inside. Not from fear, from the need to just breathe, to exist in neutral space, to gather strength. Inside, she found a package. From Marcus Flynn, a note attached, more financial records, his gambling debts, the people he owed. They're willing to testify about his desperation, about the timeline, about him asking how to make something look like an accident, use it, destroy him. Rebecca opened the package, bank statements, casino records, text messages with loan sharks, email chains discussing his debts. It was damning, comprehensive, exactly what they needed. She called Beth. I have more evidence, financial, from Marcus Flynn. Bring it tomorrow. We file it with preliminary hearing documents. That night, Rebecca couldn't sleep. Too much adrenaline, too much anticipation. The hearing was tomorrow. The first step, the beginning of the end. She got up, made tea, sat by the window, watched the city lights. Her daughter kicked, strong, insistent. I know, baby girl, Rebecca whispered. Big day tomorrow. You're nervous too, huh? Another kick. Rebecca smiled. She thought about the woman she'd been 6 months ago. Trusting, naive, dependent. That woman would never have stood up to Garrett, would never have gathered evidence, would never have fought back. She wasn't that woman anymore. Somewhere along the way, I became invisible, she thought. I let him make me small, but no more. The woman she was now had teeth, had voice, had agency. The woman she was now didn't count ceiling tiles to avoid thinking. She counted evidence, witnesses, reasons why Garrett Morrison would spend the rest of his life in prison. She finally understood what Dr. Hartwell meant. You saved yourself. I just gave you tools. The tools were important. The recordings, the medical evidence, the financial records, the allies. But the survival, that was all her. She checked her phone. Messages of support from Diane, from Marcus, from Detective Cross, from Beth, even from Vanessa, a whole network of people who believed her, supported her, fought for her. She wasn't alone anymore. And tomorrow she'd walk into that courtroom, look Garrett in the eye, and tell the truth. All of it, every manipulation, every every attempt on her life. And then she'd watch him try to explain it away. Rebecca smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who'd been underestimated, who'd been written off as weak, who'd been counted out, and who was about to prove everyone wrong. Tomorrow, she whispered to her daughter, tomorrow we start winning. The courthouse was everything Rebecca had feared. Imposing gray stone, high ceilings, the weight of judgment in every corner. Reporters camped outside, cameras, microphones thrust at her face as she climbed the steps. Mrs. Morrison, how do you feel about your husband's arrest? Is it true you're accusing him of attempted murder? What about the affair? Were you jealous? Rebecca kept her head down. Let the officers escort her inside. The preliminary hearing was closed to media. Just the judge, lawyers, and essential witnesses. Garrett sat at the defense table in an expensive suit, his hair perfectly styled, expression neutral. He looked like a successful businessman, not a would-be killer. When Rebecca entered, his eyes found hers, cold, empty, promising retribution. She didn't look away. Judge Miriam Caldwell presided. She was 62 with steel gray hair and no-nonsense expression. She'd been briefed on the case, had reviewed the evidence. Now she'd decide if there was enough to proceed to trial. The state may present its case, Judge Caldwell said. Beth Carmichael stood, composed, professional. Your Honor, the state will demonstrate that the defendant, Garrett Morrison, engaged in a calculated, premeditated plan to murder his wife, Rebecca Morrison, and collect $5 million in life insurance. We have recordings of him discussing methods and timing, financial records showing his desperate need for money, medical evidence of previous attempts on Mrs. Morrison's life, and witness testimony from his business partner and his mistress confirming the pattern of deception and intent. The defense attorney stood. His name was Richard Thornton, 60 years old, reputation for winning impossible cases, very expensive. Your Honor, the state's case is built on misunderstandings in the paranoid delusions of a pregnant woman. My client never attempted to harm anyone. The recordings are taken wildly out of context. The financial situation, while strained, does not indicate murder, and the medical evidence is inconclusive at best. We move for dismissal. Motion denied, Judge Caldwell said. Proceed with evidence. Beth presented the recordings first. Dr. Hartwell's camera footage, Garrett's voice discussing the pillow method, the insurance payout, the timeline. The defense objected. Hearsay, illegally obtained. The doctor had no warrant. The doctor was acting in her patient's best interests, Beth countered. She suspected abuse. The recording was made in a public hallway of a medical facility where there is no expectation of privacy. Judge Caldwell reviewed the law. Objection overruled. The recording is admissible. Continue. They played 4 recordings, each one more damning than the last. Garrett discussing methods, practicing suffocation techniques, calculating payout amounts, dismissing Vanessa's future. Rebecca watched Garrett's face. No emotion, no reaction, like he was listening to a weather report. Next came Marcus Flynn. Marcus testified about the embezzlement, the gambling debts, $3 million owed to dangerous people. Garrett's desperation, his questions about making deaths look natural, his timeline matching Rebecca's due date. Did the defendant ever explicitly say he planned to kill his wife? The defense attorney asked on cross-examination. Not in those exact words, Marcus admitted. So all of this is your interpretation, your assumption. It's connecting obvious dots, or it's you covering for your own financial mismanagement of the company. Marcus's jaw tightened. I have nothing to hide. I've turned over all records. I'm testifying against my former partner because my conscience demands it. Unlike Mr. Morrison, I actually have one. The defense moved to strike the comment. Judge Caldwell allowed it. Vanessa testified next. She walked to the stand 6 months pregnant, young, scared, but determined. She told her story. Meeting Garrett at a conference, his charm, his attention, the whirlwind romance, his claims of being divorced, the pregnancy, his promises of a future together. Did he ever discuss insurance with you? Beth asked. Yes, he insisted I get a life insurance policy, $2 million. He helped me fill out the paperwork, said it was responsible for the baby's future. Who was the beneficiary? Him, Garrett Morrison. Did you think that was strange? He said we'd get married soon, that it was just temporary, that I could change it later. Vanessa's voice broke. I trusted him. The defense attorney was brutal on cross-examination. Isn't it true you knew Mr. Morrison was married? No. Isn't it true you helped him plan to leave his wife? No, he said he was already divorced. Isn't it true you're only testifying now to avoid prosecution yourself? I'm testifying because he lied to me, used me, and tried to kill us both. Judge Caldwell called a recess. Rebecca stepped into the hallway. Diane was waiting. You're up next, Diane said. You ready? Rebecca nodded. She prepared for this, practiced. But now that the moment was here, fear crept in. What if they don't believe me? She whispered. They'll believe you. You're telling the truth. That matters. Rebecca returned to the courtroom, took the stand, placed her hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. Beth asked gentle questions first. Background, how she met Garrett, their marriage, the pregnancy, building a foundation. Then came the accidents. Rebecca described each one. The fall down the stairs, the food poisoning, the carbon monoxide leak, how she'd believed they were accidents. How Garrett had been there, comforting, supportive, heroic. When did you first suspect they weren't accidents? Beth asked. The night he tried to suffocate me with a pillow. I woke up, saw his face, and I knew. In that moment, I knew. What did his face look like? Cold, empty, like there was nothing inside, like I was already dead to him. Beth introduced medical evidence, photos of Rebecca's neck, the finger marks, Dr. Hartwell's testimony about petechial hemorrhaging, the pattern consistent with strangulation. And what did Dr. Hartwell tell you? That someone had tried to strangle me, that it wasn't a panic attack, that I was in danger. The defense attorney stood. Richard Thornton approached with a smile, predatory, calculated. Mrs. Morrison, you've been in therapy for anxiety, correct? Yes. And you've experienced paranoid thoughts before? My anxiety was caused by my husband gaslighting me. That's your interpretation. But you've taken anti-anxiety medication? Yes, prescribed by my doctor. And pregnancy hormones can cause irrational thoughts, can't they? Objection, Beth said. Counsel is not a medical expert. Sustained, Thornton smiled. Let me rephrase. You were under stress, pregnant, anxious, taking medication. Is it possible you misinterpreted normal conversations and accidents as something sinister? Rebecca looked him in the eye. No, I heard my husband planning to kill me. I have bruises on my neck from where he strangled me. I found insurance policies and financial records in mistresses. This wasn't paranoia. This was survival. Or it was a jealous wife discovering an affair and fabricating a murder plot to gain sympathy and financial advantage in a divorce. I don't want his money. I want him in prison where he can't hurt anyone else. Convenient that you're saying that now, after securing $3 million in a settlement offer. I turned down the settlement because this isn't about money. It's about justice. Thornton paused, clearly hadn't expected that answer. Your Honor, Beth interjected, may I redirect? Judge Caldwell nodded. Rebecca, why did you turn down $3 million? Rebecca's voice was steady, clear. Because Garrett Morrison tried to kill me and my unborn daughter. Because he manipulated and lied to Vanessa Crane. Because he embezzled from his company and endangered his partner. Because if he walks free, he'll do this again. To someone else. Some other woman who loves him and trusts him and believes his lies. She paused. I survived. Barely. The next woman might not be so lucky. The courtroom was silent. Judge Caldwell made her ruling at the end of the day. Based on the evidence presented, I find sufficient cause to proceed to trial. The defendant will remain out on bail under house arrest and restraining order. Trial date is set for November 15th. Court is adjourned. Garrett's face finally showed emotion. Rage, pure, undiluted rage. Rebecca walked out of the courthouse with her head high. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. But she didn't care. She'd told her story, under oath, on record. The truth was out there now, and Garrett's perfect mask had cracked. Outside, Vanessa waited. They hugged. Two women who'd survived the same monster. Thank you, Vanessa said, for being brave, for fighting back. Thank you for testifying, for telling the truth. Detective Cross approached. That was good work in there, Mrs. Morrison. Both of you. The trial will be harder, but we have momentum. That night, Rebecca returned to the safe house, exhausted, emotionally drained, but also lighter, like she'd set down a weight she'd been carrying for months. She made tea, sat by the window, watched the lights of the city. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. You're going to regret this. I'll make sure you have nothing. You and that bastard you're carrying, Garrett, using a burner phone, violating the restraining order, threatening her. Rebecca forwarded the message to Detective Cross, then blocked the number. She refused to be afraid anymore. Tomorrow was another day, another step toward justice, toward freedom, toward the life she and Sophia deserved, and Garrett Morrison could burn. The trial lasted 3 weeks. November brought cold rain and gray skies. Rebecca attended every day, listened to every witness, watched Garrett's lawyers try to dismantle the case piece by piece. They failed. The evidence was too strong, too comprehensive, too damning. Dr. Hartwell testified about the pattern of injuries, the suspicious medical history, the recordings she'd made. She was unshakable on the stand. Professional, credible, impossible to discredit. Marcus Flynn provided financial forensics, expert testimony about embezzlement and gambling debts, phone records showing Garrett contacting loan sharks, email chains discussing his desperation. Vanessa's testimony brought tears. Her story of manipulation, the fake divorce papers Garrett had shown her, the promises of a future that was all lies, the insurance policy that would have made her death profitable. And Rebecca. She testified for 2 days, detailed every accident, every moment of fear, every lie Garrett had told, every time he had made her doubt her own sanity. The defense tried to break her, questioned her mental health, her motives, her credibility. She didn't break. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Rebecca sat in the courtroom with Diane on one side and Vanessa on the other. Detective Cross stood in the back. Elena sat in the gallery. Marcus was there too. All of them. Everyone who'd helped her survive. The jury filed back in. 12 faces. Impossible to read. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. On the charge of attempted murder in the first degree, how do you find? Guilty, Rebecca's breath caught. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, how do you find? Guilty. On the charge of insurance fraud, how do you find? Guilty. Garrett's face went white, then red. He stood. This is a travesty, a witch hunt. I'm innocent. Judge Caldwell banged her gavel. Mr. Morrison, sit down. I won't. This is insane. That woman. He pointed at Rebecca. She's a liar, a manipulator. She seduced me, trapped me, and now she's destroying me out of spite. Bailiff, restrain the defendant. They handcuffed Garrett. He fought, shouted, made threats, promised he'd appeal, that he'd destroy them all. Rebecca watched, felt nothing but cold satisfaction. Judge Caldwell set sentencing for the following week. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Rebecca made a brief statement. I want to thank everyone who believed me, who helped me, who gave me the tools and support to fight back. To the women out there in similar situations, I want you to know, your instincts are valid. Your fear is real. Trust yourself, find help, survive, and then make sure they face consequences. The media coverage was intense. National news picked up the story. Millionaire tech entrepreneur convicted of attempting to murder pregnant wife. The details were sensational. The recordings, the mistress, the insurance policies. Rebecca became an unwilling celebrity. Requests for interviews, book deals, speaking engagements. She turned them all down. This wasn't about fame. It was about survival. Sentencing came 1 week later. Judge Caldwell showed no mercy. Mr. Morrison, you preyed on the woman who trusted you most during her most vulnerable time. You planned her death with cold calculation. You practiced methods of murder. You took out insurance policies. You manipulated multiple women. You embezzled from your business partner. She paused. This court sentences you to life in prison without possibility of parole for 25 years in the attempted murder charge. Additional consecutive sentences for conspiracy and fraud. You will spend the rest of your productive life behind bars. Garrett tried to speak. Judge Caldwell silenced him. I'm not finished. Before I remand you to custody, the victim has prepared an impact statement. Mrs. Morrison, if you'd like to address the court. Rebecca stood, 8 months pregnant, powerful, unbroken. She walked to the podium, looked directly at Garrett. "You tried to erase me," she said. Her voice was steady, strong. "You tried to make me invisible, dependent, small, easy to kill. You counted on me being weak, being trusting, being too afraid to fight back." She paused. "You were wrong about all of it. I'm not weak. I'm not invisible. I'm standing here alive, carrying our daughter who will never know you. She'll know she's strong. She'll know she's valued. She'll know that women who trust their instincts and fight for themselves can survive anything." Rebecca's hands rested on her belly. "You wanted me dead. Instead, you freed me. You showed me exactly who I am, what I'm capable of, how strong I really am. So thank you, Garrett. Thank you for being exactly who you are, because it made me exactly who I need to be." She stepped down, walked out of the courtroom, didn't look back. The media tried to follow. She ignored them, got into the car with Diane, drove away from the courthouse, from Garrett, from all of it. "Where to?" Diane asked. "Dr. Hartwell's office. I have a checkup." Life went on. 2 weeks later, at 39 weeks pregnant, Rebecca went into labor. Dr. Hartwell delivered Sophia Morrison at 2:15 in the morning. 7 pounds, 6 ounces, 20 inches long, perfect in every way. Rebecca held her daughter, counted her fingers and toes, marveled at her tiny face, and cried. These weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of triumph, relief, joy. "You saved my life," Rebecca whispered to her daughter, "just by existing, just by giving me a reason to fight." Diane was there. Vanessa came to visit the next day with flowers. Detective Cross stopped by with a stuffed animal. Elena checked on them constantly. Marcus sent a college fund contribution, $500,000, with a note, "For Sophia. May she grow up knowing how brave her mother is." Rebecca stayed in the hospital for 2 days, then went home. Not to the house she'd shared with Garrett. That had been sold. The proceeds split as part of the legal settlement. She bought a small house across town, 2 bedrooms, a yard, safe, simple, hers. Diane helped her set up the nursery. They painted it soft yellow, hung pictures of strong women, scientists, leaders, warriors, women who'd changed the world. "She's going to grow up knowing she can do anything," Diane said. "Yes," Rebecca agreed, "she is." 1 year later, Rebecca sat in a lecture hall at the State University. Medical school, inspired by Dr. Hartwell, she decided to become a doctor, specialize in trauma, help other women like her. Sophia sat in a baby carrier on her chest, babbling, happy, healthy. Rebecca's phone buzzed. A text from Vanessa. "Baby boy arrived, 8 pounds, 2 ounces. He's perfect." Rebecca smiled, typed back, "Congratulations. Can't wait to meet him." The 2 women had stayed in touch. It became friends. Their children would know each other. Half-siblings raised by strong mothers who'd survived the same monster. After class, Rebecca stopped by Elena's office. They had lunch together once a month, mentor and student, friends. "How's school?" Elena asked. "Challenging, exhausting, perfect." Rebecca paused. "I'm thinking about specializing in obstetrics, helping pregnant women, watching for signs of abuse. Maybe I can help someone else the way you helped me." "You already are," Elena said. "Just by existing, by being proof that survival is possible." That evening, Rebecca picked up Sophia from daycare, drove home, made dinner, started a bedtime routine. She gave Sophia a bath, dressed her in soft pajamas, read her a story. Then she tucked her daughter into the crib, watched her eyes grow heavy, watched her drift off to sleep. Rebecca sat in the rocking chair, watched her daughter breathe, safe, loved, protected. Her mind drifted back to that night, the pillow, the fear, the moment she'd thought would be her last. She'd survived, against all odds, against a man who'd planned her death with calculated precision. And not only had she survived, she'd transformed, from victim to victor, from dependent wife to independent mother, from invisible to unshakable. The hardest part wasn't the pillow, she reflected. It was admitting I knew, all along, something was wrong. Trusting that voice saved us. She'd learned to trust herself, to believe her instincts, to fight back when fighting back seemed impossible. Rebecca stood, checked the baby monitor one more time, then walked to her bedroom. On her nightstand sat a framed photo. Not of Garrett, he was in prison where he belonged. She'd never displayed his picture again. The photo was of her and Sophia, taken the day they'd come home from the hospital. Rebecca holding her daughter. Both of them alive, surviving, thriving. She picked up the photo, traced Sophia's face. "We made it, baby girl," she whispered. "We really made it." And for the first time in longer than she could remember, Rebecca felt at peace. Not the false peace of denial, not the fragile peace of survival, but the deep, unshakable peace of someone who'd faced the worst and come out stronger. She was her own proof. Alive, thriving, free. Rebecca set down the photo, turned off the light, climbed into bed. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Medical school exams, single motherhood, building a new life from the ashes of the old. But she'd faced down a killer, testified in court, brought a would-be murderer to justice. She could handle anything. In the next room, Sophia slept, unaware of the battle her mother had fought to keep them both alive. She'd learn the story someday, when she was old enough to understand, but not as a tragedy, as a triumph, as proof that women are stronger than the men who tried to destroy them. That survival is an act of defiance, that justice, though slow, is real, and that sometimes the best revenge is simply living, thriving, refusing to be erased. Rebecca closed her eyes, smiled, and slept the deep, dreamless sleep of someone who'd won. Rebecca Morrison survived. Garrett Morrison is serving life in prison. And baby Sophia, she's growing up knowing her mother is the strongest person in the world. If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it reminded you to trust your instincts, I need you to do something. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Tell me what moment hit you hardest. Was it the recording reveal? The courtroom testimony? The moment she finally held her daughter? Share this story because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear it. Someone who's counting ceiling tiles to avoid thinking. Someone who's pretending to sleep to avoid confrontation. Someone who knows deep down that something is terribly wrong. Your share could save a life. Subscribe to this channel for more stories of survival, justice, and women who refuse to be erased. Because these stories matter. These voices matter. And remember, trust your instincts. They're trying to save you. I'll see you in the next story. Stay strong out there.